Welcome to Let's Talk Boxing. We're here, live commentary for the Joshua Pulev main event heavyweight fight on the zone. It's about to get started here momentarily. There fellas about to do the ring walks. I think we're in the show for a good fight. I think Joshua, is going to come out, show everybody why he's the unified champ. I don't think Pulev's got quite enough to stick in the ring with him. If y'all didn't get to see some of those earlier fights from earlier, there were some good ones on this undercard. My man Lewis in here, let's go, baby. Hey, if you didn't get to see any of the fights, one of the episodes that I'm gonna be doing here in the future is about the first fight in this undercard was between Florian Marcoux versus Jamie Stewart, and it ended up being a draw. And it was the worst decision I've seen in a long time. It was an 8-round fight, called it a draw, 76-76. And Marcoux even knocked the guy down in the second round. So for it to be a 76-76, it had to be a 5-3 fight in favor of the Jamie Stewart, the challenger. And it was a landslide. It was by far a win by Marcoux. He won every round, and there was maybe one swing round at the most. The problem is that for some reason on some of these pre-card, on these undercard fights, they for some reason were having the ref be the judge at the same time. It's insane. Those are very old rules that haven't been done in a very long time. So I don't know if there was an issue with hiring judges or if COVID was preventing people from being there. I know COVID prevented a lot of the DAZN people from coming out to England. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the problem was or why they would set it up like that, but one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. So in a future episode, we're gonna have to sit down and maybe talk about some of these refereeing situations, because they're too often we having judging situations where the judges are making just bad decisions, and I'm not sure what fight they're watching sometimes. So the eye test often it can be correct, and I understand that some judges pick fights to go one way, some judges pick fights to go the other way. Some judges like aggression, some judges like consistency and defense, some of them like ring generalship. But sometimes it's obvious, and there's no other way around it. But I'm excited for this main event. I'm very excited for it. Joshua, I think, is going to put on a show. I think he's learned a lot from the Andy Ruiz loss. He came back, fought Ruiz the second time, and fought a very disciplined fight. Came in the lightest he's ever came in. I think he came in at like 237. Tonight he's coming in, I believe, at 240, 241, something like that. So he's still going to stay fairly light, but I think he's gained a couple of pounds because he is going to go for the knockout. But he did, in that Ruiz previous fight, he really showed a lot of discipline. I was very impressed. He's the kind of fighter that I think has all the tools to truly be a unified champ. I really would love to see him, come out here, do his work, show that he's, really is that guy in the division, and then obviously set up the dream fight with him and Tyson Fury. That's the one everybody really wants to see, because that one would really be that would be a fight to set the ages. I mean, that would be a huge, huge, huge venue. Everybody would come out to see that. Not to mention, I would love to see who could win that fight. They should be doing the ring walk here fairly shortly. Pulev, I believe they were interviewing him here previous to the fight. He seems to be in control, though. I do mentally. He looks like he's ready. I just don't think he has enough. I think he's as good. Tonight we're probably going to see the best Pulev we've ever seen, and that's still not going to be enough. I just don't think he's got enough in his arsenal to stick with a talent like AJ. Joshua's a big, strong heavyweight, one that many people have never seen before. But I'm excited to see it. We've got some good fights coming up later on today, too, on ESPN and on Showtime. AJ needs to put on a big – I agree. I need to see AJ come out there in every round, not take any rounds off. And I would like to see him go for the knockout, too, get back to that knockout. I mean, he's 23-1 with 21 knockouts. He's only had 2 fights that went the distance, and that first one was with Joseph Parker, and then the second one was that Andy Ruiz rematch. But I think the second one with the Andy Ruiz rematch, it was on purpose. It was a disciplined. He was trying to show that he could, he needed to outbox and take it seriously. He wasn't going for the knockout that fight. Anybody who watched that fight would have seen that he was never really going for the knockout. He was more trying to box and The one with Joseph Parker is just a very crafty fighter, and he was able to keep him off of those big shots. But this fight, I agree. I want to see him make a big performance. I want to see him go for the knockout. I need to see him show that AJ of old, the gold medal AJ, the one that came out in the very beginning that was knocking everybody's heads off. I'm excited to see it, though. I think he's going to be, more exciting tonight than he was against. A lot of people didn't like the Ruiz fight, the rematch, because they got bored. They wanted to see knockouts. They wanted to see high level punches, and instead, he bounced around the ring. Used his jab, worked off the jab, threw a lot of punches, but none of them were knockouts. Ruiz lost rematch. He needs to convince the fans he's ready for Fury. I agree, because Fury knocking out Deontay Wilder was a big statement. Fury won the first fight, in my opinion, against Deontay Wilder. They called it a draw. That was another bad judging situation. I think points, if you round by round, if you judge the fight round by round, I don't think it was a question of whether or not Tyson Fury won. I think it was a definitive win for him. So I felt like he got robbed that first fight. So the second fight, a lot of people were like, why is he? He kept telling everybody pre-fight that he was going to go after Wilder. He was going to go for the knockout. And everybody was like, well, why would you do that? Because most people felt like he won the first fight by not doing that and fighting, a good defensive fight. And I see why Tyson Fury did what he did, though, because I feel like Deontay Wilder is by far, in my opinion, the hardest puncher in the heavyweight division, but he can't fight off his back foot. If you ever watch him fight, he doesn't punch well off the back foot. He has to be coming forward for that right hand to really – that dynamite right hand that he's got, for it to really be effective, he's got to come off. He's got to come forward. Fury put him on that back foot, and he didn't know it was a position he'd never been put in before, because so many fighters are afraid of that right hand. So I give huge props to Fury for having the courage to walk in there and say, hey, I'm about to push the fight to the guy who's the big puncher. I'm going to show him that I can take the fight from him. And he did. And so Fury has put himself in the league to where if Joshua wants that big fight, I think he needs to come in here and get a big knockout, because you can see that Tyson Fury, even though it doesn't look like he hits as hard, I mean, he put Deontay Wilder down convincingly. So I would love to see Joshua come out here and do the same to Pulev. That way, there's no question about let's get Pulev. And then also there's going to be some situations as far as the mandatory with Usyk, who, if y'all don't know who Usyk is, he was the Cruiserweight Unified Undisputed Champ at Cruiserweight. Moved up to heavyweight. He's had several fights now. He's looked good. It was a bit of a transition from cruiser to heavy, just because, it was a little bit more weight for him to carry to fight these guys. He's looked good. He just beat Chisora about a month ago, I believe. Good fight. Usyk's a very good fighter. And he may be the mandatory for, I can't remember exactly which belt it is. I think it's the WBO, but it could be the WBA. He could be the mandatory for Joshua. And he's already kind of said publicly. Now, of course, this is publicly. This isn't definitive, but it has been said publicly that he will, he will, exercise his mandatory right to fight Joshua if he's able to, which may postpone the Fury fight a little bit as well. But again, I still, at the end of the day, I still think Joshua, whether he has to fight Usyk or Tyson next, he needs to come out here. And I see here in the stands, for those who are not watching, they're out there singing their "Sweet Caroline," that England anthem that they do. So they're getting ready to make their ring walks. Hopefully Joshua will look a little more, I want him to be relaxed, but not as relaxed as he was when he walked in on the Ruiz fight. He looked a little too relaxed that night. He looked bored and looked like he was not interested. But he keeps saying he's going to take Pulev seriously. He's saying he's not taking anything off and he's going to take him seriously. So I'm excited to see if that's true. We're getting ready here. They're showing some backstage down the hall, getting ready to bring some guys out of their rooms. If y'all just tuning in, thank you. Welcome to Let's Talk Boxing. We're here getting ready for the AJ Anthony Joshua versus Pulev fight. I'm not getting some KO by someone coming out sing "Sweet Caroline," but that's just me. I understand completely. Being from America, I would have to agree. But I've seen some interesting ring walks this evening with the music. Somebody was playing like an Ashanti song, and I've seen some sort of, it wasn't even a song earlier. It was just like a speech. Somebody was doing like a speech in the background. And then one guy came out the last fight, Okoli, he came out to his own rap music. So we've had some interesting ring walks this evening. Everybody's got some interesting tunes or lack thereof. But this one, I knew the Sweet Caroline was going to be a big one, but they're, I think Pulev. Yep, they're showing Pulev's room here in the back. Pulev's getting ready to come out. If y'all didn't get to catch the weigh-in, Pulev, he tried to kind of get under Joshua's skin, and it got a little tense there for a moment. Those DAZN security guards came in there and parted him up. Had to split him up, make sure there was no problems. They didn't want any problems before obviously before the fight. So for y'all who don't know, Pulev, 39 years old, Joshua, 31. Pulev is 6'4", Joshua 6'6". Joshua has the reach advantage on this fight. He's got about 2 to 3 inches. Pulev's about 79.5, almost 80-inch reach. Joshua's got the 82-inch reach, so he's got a little bit of a reach on him. He's going to definitely, I'm sure, use that like he did in the Ruiz fight a little bit, but he's still going to try and move in for those power shots. He's got a great left hook, too, that I think Joshua needs to use more. I think he just sometimes needs to calculate it at the right time. Sometimes I think his timing is a little off, but I think if he keeps his timing on, Pulev out by 8, that's a good prediction. Eddie Hearns just came on and said before the 6th. Right now, Pulev is a strong fighter, though. Yeah, maybe sooner. See, I would agree with that because Pulev is a strong fighter, but I think he's kind of almost tailor-made for Anthony Joshua. His style of fighting, I feel like he doesn't have enough movement for Joshua not to land some of those big clean shots. And if anybody's ever seen Joshua punch, I mean, he's not talked about enough for his power. I mean, he can hit. That young man can when he wants to land that big shot, he can land it. And here we go. Here is Mr. Pulev walking down the hallway, headed to the ring. He's a big guy though. He's got a strong jawline, so he looks like a Neanderthal walking out of the ice. He's got a very intense look on his face too. He looks like he's ready. I'm not sure I would have worn that robe. It's got kind of a V-neck slit all the way down to his stomach. It's a very odd look, but I'm not here to judge his ring attire. By all means, wear what you're comfortable in. But he does look ready, I'll say that. He looks pumped. I'm pumped. I feel like I'm about to fight. I don't know about y'all, but when y'all watch the fights, when y'all watch boxing, y'all ever feel like y'all got to weave some of these punches? I know I do. I'll get a little gitchy. Somebody will take a shot and I'll feel like I got a parry. I got the lights going. And this is one of the first fights with a little bit of a crowd, too. They got about 1,000 people in there. So that'll be fun. I know they had a bit of a crowd here at the recent Errol Spence and Danny Garcia fight. They're in my hometown, Dallas, Texas. Stand up. Big Errol Spence fan, obviously. Hometown. Got to root for the hometown favorites. Also a big fan of Virgil Ortiz, for y'all who don't know. He's also out of Dallas. So might want to look into him a little bit. Let's see. Pulev getting ready to do his official coming out of the tunnel ring walk. He's now out of the tunnel, but now they're waiting for him to get in the ring. The DAZN announcer here asked him to ring the bell. Let's get it going. So we've had enough of the theatrics. Let's get them in here. And they're going to, Mr. Joshua, I'm sure he's going to have a little bit longer of a ring walk than Pulev. But this fight here, I know is, it's on a couple of different networks, DAZN, and I think in Sky Sports has got a venue for it. And Mr. Pulev stepping out. Kubrat Pulev, the Cobra, as he's called. I didn't realize how much of a reach Crawford has. Yeah, he's got a great, big time. Terrence Crawford is a big reach. Yeah, I think hopefully that's a fight that we can get to talk on here very soon, is the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight, because Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Errol Spence is in the top 5 for me, though. So I think those two guys, it would be a great matchup. I give the slight advantage to Terrence Crawford because of his ability to switch hit on the fly and his ability for his reach advantage and his general ring IQ is very good. But my biggest advantage for for Errol Spence, I believe, is going to be his poise. He's got great poise in the ring and his body shots. He's got great body work in the ring. So that's a fight that I'm hopefully we'll definitely get to see very soon. And it's probably one of my, if you had some sort of your hypothetical best fights you could see, that's by far, top 3 in the list. I want to see that fight more than most fights I can think of that I could create myself. That would be a dream fight to create. Anthony Joshua here, walking down the stairs, getting ready to go down to the ring as well. He's finally on his little ring walk. He's got his very classy looking white robe with the sleeves cut off. Looks like Bill Belichick. But he always comes out with a very sleek, clean, gentleman-looking ring attire. He looks focused this time, though. He looks a little more pumped, like he's got a little more energy in him than he did with that walk. Walking with for the Ruiz fight, he looked like he was walking into his own funeral. This fight, he looks a little more pumped up. His eyes look ready. He looks like he's got some energy inside. So that's what we want to see. I want to see Joshua come in here and don't come in here and act like this guy's not a tough fight. Pulev is still tough. He's still strong. He only has 14 knockouts on his record, but he's got a good, solid. He's got a good 1-2. He's got a good right hook. So I look for him to, Pulev's going to push the issue. I don't think he's going to step away from the challenge. But I want to see Anthony Joshua answer that challenge and come out with the win. He's very charismatic. He's very. I'd say he's a charmer on the sides. But if you ever watch some of his, for example, the Pulev, when he got under his skin, or if you ever saw the back and forth with him in Brazil, you can that fight he had with Brazil, he can get agitated, and when he does, you can see a fire in his eyes. Or when Jarrell Miller, when he really wanted to fight Jarrell Miller, and Jarrell Miller pushed him on the stare down, sort of just out of nowhere, and you could tell he was pissed. I mean, he was not happy about that at all. So I think he's the kind of heavyweight champion that's he's got that sort of very calm, cool, collective, nice guy on the outside, but get him in that ring, and I think you can bring out the dog in him. And in my opinion, at the heavyweight position, at the heavyweight, as far as all the heavyweights go, outside of, Tyson Fury, he's got a very odd, awkward style. So he's very, he moves very haphazardly. He's got some odd movement to him. Joshua has the most fluid heavyweight movement to me in the division. Matching that with his power is why I think he really is, skill-wise, the best boxer. The all-around most aesthetically pleasing boxer to watch, but also has the power to match his movement and his sort of ring generalship. I think it's questionable. I would say, I'm not going to say his heart's in question. I think the Ruiz fight, just his dedication to getting what he wanted. He wanted the Deontay Wilder fight, didn't get it. And I think he overlooked Ruiz. I don't think he looked at him as a real, challenge. And I mean, he knocked him down. If anyone remembers that fight, he knocked him down right before he got knocked down with a good left hook, good movement. And you could tell he just didn't look like he was like, okay, the fight's over. In his mind, that fight was done. He came in there to finish it real quick, thinking it was going to be over. And Ruiz caught him with a great right, I believe it was a left hook to the temple. And he just never recovered. And, I was impressed that he got up the 2 times that he did, because you could tell his legs were never under him after that knockdown. He tried to take that next, I believe it was the 7th round. He tried to take it off to try and get his legs back under him. Couldn't do it. Just couldn't get back under him. He's now entered the top rope. Big stare down by him and Pulev. It's looking close. I don't know. These boys are looking very intense. Pulev looked at him with a little smirk on his face. Joshua looks like he means business tonight. I hope his look matches it. I hope the skills match what he's looking at like right now, because he looks like he's ready to go. I certainly hope he's coming in here to do what he looks like he's coming here to do. I'm excited to see if he's going to bring back the Joshua of old. He's in there bouncing around, throwing a few punches, getting ready. Pulev also doing a little bounce around with a little smirk on his face, as if to say, you think you've got this one, but I've got this really. Really, I'm the one to beat. So we'll see. Pulev doesn't look like he's come to play, that's for sure. I do like the body language of Joshua tonight, though. It's much, in And, just sort of looking at it from the outside, he does look to seem a little more dedicated to this fight than he did that first Ruiz fight. He looks ready. Hopefully his actions will match what he looks like. And these are some big guys. I mean, Josh was 6'6", 240. Came in, I believe, at 241 tonight. I mean, that's a big guy. For him to move the way he does, it's impressive. Gonna have the fighters here doing a few announcements. Got to get the sponsorships up. Joshua bouncing around the ring, getting the feel for the ring. For those of y'all just tuning in, this is the Joshua Pulev fight. Fight's about to begin. Ring walks are finished. We got here on the zone, Anthony Joshua, the unified champ. And the fight is about to begin. Here we go. About to get into it. Pulev, I think if he wants a chance at this at all, he's really good. You want to talk about somebody, really, putting on a performance. I think Pulev's got to have the performance of his lifetime to have a shot at this. Round one, I think Joshua's gonna try and set the pace. I think he's gonna come out fairly quickly, set the pace. I don't think he's gonna lay back for too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and give round one to Joshua. And I truly think if Joshua comes out and fights the way he has in the past and can fight, I think he has the ability to do so. I think as long he can control each one of these rounds until he gets what he wants for that knockout. I don't think Pulev I just don't think he has enough movement or the reach to be able to try and in order for Pulev to do this, he's got to turn this into a tough, dirty sort of. And I don't mean dirty but just a rugged in the trenches kind of fight. That's the only way I think Pulev has a chance. Of course, in boxing, especially the heavyweight division, everybody's got a puncher's chance because they're heavyweights. They're big, they're strong, they've got big, a lot of body weight going behind these shots. But I don't think he's got, just on a skill basis, he just doesn't have enough in his arsenal to keep up with Joshua. So if Joshua, comes out, controls the first round, uses his jab, I think he'll definitely hold it down. Yes, he does. Joshua has a 82-inch reach, and Pulev has a 79.5, about 79.5-inch reach. So the reach advantage definitely goes to Joshua. And he's also 6'6". Pulev is 6'4". Another very interesting, intense stare down they just had as they're calling out their names. And now we're coming to the middle of the ring. Pulev got a few things to say, too. Pulev's talking in the ring already, pre-fight. About to get started. I think Pulev in his mind, I believe he thinks he's got this fight. He thinks this fight is his. He is not backing down from the challenge. He's not playing any games when it comes to this fight that he has gotten himself into. He looks very confident there. They're reading out his resume, what he's done, and he's feeling himself. He's punching his gloves, talking, still talking. Boy, Pulev, you better back all this up. You talking. You canceled your DAZN subscription. That's okay. It's a good thing you're here to Let's Talk Boxing because I've got you. Round by round, I've got you. Don't you worry about that, Lewis. You may have canceled your subscription, but you've come to the right place to get all the information you need. You'll feel like you're at the fight right here. It's amazing. Joshua, 23 wins, 21 wins by way of knockout, 1 loss to his record. A loss he avenged in his previous fight. Still reading his resume, letting everybody know AJ what he's accomplished: gold medalist, unified champ. I'm very curious. Pulev is still talking in the ring. Every time they cut to him, he's got something to say. Joshua, I know a lot of people were worried about, I saw previous interviews where they were kind of asking him about, they were asking him about, fighting in front of a small crowd. And he said he's already kind of gotten his mindset in that previous fight that the crowds really are not going to affect him all the way. They're not there because he's so used to fighting big crowds out of England. They get so many tens of thousands of people going to those stadiums. Oh, they want to get real close to each other. Pulev done before round 4. See, Joshua looks ready. Joshua's over here smacking the gloves on Pulev's gloves real hard. Round 1 about to begin. Here we go. Judges, you ready? Corners. First, here we go. Bell rings, start of the fight. Joshua fighting tall right now. He's got good movement. Pulev trying to scoot in. No one's thrown a punch yet. Everybody's still trying to feel each other out. Joshua kind of put a little feeler jab out there. He's trying to get the distance down. Yep, still reaching out for distance. Pulev still yet to throw anything. He's still just moving back and forth a little bit, trying to get in a little closer, bouncing up and down. Okay, now we got a little action here, a little bit. Joshua putting a jab to the stomach, little pot shot, another jab up top, trying to get both guys trying to measure, I think, right now, especially Joshua trying to get the measurements. Pulev just trying to wait for his opportunity to scoot in a little bit. Oh, Pulev first finally with a jab to the belly. Didn't quite connect, but he's trying to get the measurements down as well. See, distance I think is going to be important in this fight. Pulev, I think if he's got to change, he's got to get in. He's got to scoot in some. I think he's really got to make this a much up close and personal phone booth fight if he wants a shot. And even then, it's going to be tough because Joshua can punch. So, Joshua looks to definitely have the reach on him. It's noticeable as far as the way they fight. Joshua kind of has the better angle. Yep, got him a good jab off. Pulev trying to get in with the jab. Both guys still kind of taking it slow. But Joshua doesn't seem to want to move as far as Pulev wants to back him up, and Joshua doesn't seem to want to back up at all. So Pulev's kind of going in and out a little bit, trying to jab in, but Joshua's not having it just yet. It's good movement from Joshua. He seems to be very light on his feet, which this is the second lightest he's come in, so that's good. Pulev no. Joshua looking for a cross there. Tried to counter him with a right cross. Didn't quite land flush, but I think something for Pulev to watch. We got 43 seconds left here in the first round. And Joshua kind of throwing a few different shots here. He's shown the jab a few times. He's now shown a cross on a counter. He's shown a little bit of a feeler left hook to kind of see his distance. So first round really is just a feeler round. I think both guys kind of trying to figure out some distances here, kind of see what the other guy's game plan is going to be. Pulev grazes a small jab off of Joshua. So he gets in there close enough to get that shot off. Joshua with another good jab. And the right cross, partially blocked by Pulev. Pulev still trying to track him down, Joshua moving side to side, I think, to get a little into the first round. First round, I would have to give to Joshua. He definitely threw more punches, landed a couple of jabs. Pulev only really had the one shot that had any sort of connection at all. Both guys kind of feeling each other out in that first round. I didn't see anyone's specific game plan other than the fact that Pulev looked like he may be trying to really kind of do some feints and maybe figure out how he can get in closer. First round, I would definitely give to AJ, the champ. I don't think Pulev did anything that first round to even call it a swing round. Joshua only probably landed 3 to 4 shots, but he definitely threw more shots. And if Pulev had one shot at all landed, it was a grazing jab. So I definitely would give the first round to Joshua. Second round back to begin. They're off the stools. They meet in the middle of the ring. Both fighters still bouncing, still light on their feet. Pulev trying to look like he might get a little more aggressive this fight. This round, excuse me. Pulev jab to the belly with a return jab from Joshua to the chest. Now we're getting got a little tied up there for a second. Both guys try to throw some inside shots. Neither one connected with any real power. Both fighters still look to be light on their feet, moving back and forth. Joshua still, in my opinion, seems to control the ring more, even though Pulev's in the center of the ring. He looks like he's not quite sure how to get in closer yet. Another jab by Joshua. Pulev has got to get in closer. If he doesn't have the reach advantage, so he's got to get in closer, and he keeps trying to throw these jabs to the chest, but he needs to maybe try and double that up if he wants to try and get in a little closer. These single shots are just not enough. Now, here's a little combination from Joshua. Explosive combo. Pulev smiles at him. A couple of left and right hooks. It's very nice by Joshua. So he's starting to open up a little bit. Pulev trying to scoot in with a doubling up the jab. That's what he needs to do if he wants to get in there. Double up that jab. Start trying to go to the body a little bit. Oh, Joshua. A couple of more jabs. Keep the distance. Joshua with a couple of pot shots. See, I think Joshua also needs to go up and down a little bit on this guy. And see, Pulev likes to reach out with that sort of a left outreached hook. And I think Joshua can definitely connect with him when he reaches in with one of those, come in, put up that right, put up a nice counter left, and he just tried it again. Same thing, that long reaching, sweeping left hook. I think if Joshua can time that, block with the right and do a nice counter left, I think he could definitely take this fighter out very quickly. At this pace, if the fight stays at this pace, we're going to have a longer fight than what expected. Pulev with a nice jab catches Joshua coming into him. Good jab by Pulev. Pulev doing his best to he's trying to scoot up now. He's trying to get in closer. Joshua jabbing him a couple off. Looks like Pulev still trying to kind of scoot in. And Joshua kind of looks like he may be trying to take a few different angles here. He's bending at the waist, pot shotting, a couple of jabs up top. Oh, very good jab and very good hook. It was blocked by Pulev, but it connected enough to move Pulev back. You want to see Joshua get dirty. No box from the outside. Need to show something different. Oh, they're talking again. Here we go. The end of the round, and these boys are arguing a little bit. A little back and forth. Well, you may get to see Joshua get a little dirty this round because he was they're definitely starting to jaw at each other a little more than the ref liked. Ref definitely said, back to your corners, get out of the, pushing them back. He didn't want them arguing too much, but Joshua definitely got some good jabs in there, but Pulev keeps doing these reaching out left sweeping hooks. And I think Joshua needs to be aware of that, time it, come in, catch him with a left counter, and I think he could definitely put him down. Fellas getting off the stools. 10 seconds. Round 2 goes to the champ again. He still is controlling the shots. He's landing the better shots. Pulev's in the middle of the ring trying to scoot into him, but he's not landing enough, and he's not really able to get close enough just yet to really land anything. The only shot he really had was a good jab, and it was a power jab that Joshua stepped into. So that was about his best punch of the round. Fellas back in the middle of the ring. Pulev still kind of feinting a little bit. Joshua doing the same, up and down. 10-9 Joshua. Yes, sir. Round 2, 10-9. So right now it'd be a 2018 on my scorecard. Fellas tie. The guys tie up. And they're talking again. Boy, Pulev's got a lot to say. And the ref just told them both to be quiet, stop talking and fight. I would agree. See, Joshua here he's again trying to find a home for that jab. Pulev also trying to find a home with the jab. He went forward real quick at him twice. He goes that sweeping left hook. Joshua went under it and grabbed him. Joshua still kind of bouncing up and down, using that jab, using his length. He's kind of moving forward on Pulev now. I don't think Pulev likes it when Joshua comes forward, and he might want to consider actually moving forward a little bit, as we were talking about. If Joshua moves forward on him a little bit more, I don't think Pulev's a big fan, and he can go right down the pipe because Pulev's hands are about this far apart, and he's doing a lot of this. So he can come right down the pipe on him. Oh, and a big right hand from Joshua. He's trying to close the show. Pulev is turning around on him. Oh, man. Pulev's grabbing him, screaming. Joshua is going to close the show. Pulev holding, just grabbing him, holding, grabbing. Joshua trying to close it, but Pulev wouldn't go down. He kept holding him. Ooh, Joshua is really going after him now. Big lefts and rights. Pulev is smiling, trying to grab him. Now he looks a little more serious. He's backing up. Another big uppercut from Joshua. Another big uppercut from Joshua. Oh, my gosh. Pulev turned around, and he's down. Oh, man. He's down. He's up 4, 5. The referee's counting him down. 7, 8. Referee's telling him to walk towards him. You good? You ready to fight? Pulev's, I'm ready. Joshua right back in there for another big right. Oh, another big uppercut. Oh, he kind of cheated. He kind of threw Joshua's head a little bit there. Joshua with another big right. Going for the uppercuts. Boy, these uppercuts are landing home. Oh, another big right. Another big right. Pulev goes down again. Another big one. An uppercut put him down this time. He fell down all the way, but he wobbled backwards and landed on his back. He's standing up again. He's going to tell him go to the corners. There's 19 seconds left in the third. Don't punch yourself out, Joshua. You got 20 seconds left. Be smart. Oh, yeah, see, Joshua's kind of going for it still. He needs to slow down. Shit, he needs to relax now. Get back to the jab. It's only 10 seconds. You might not get the knockout right here. So stop going for it. Oh, he's still going for it. He's throwing uppercuts. Pulev's grabbing him, holding him. Oh! Pulev with a punch after the bell. And Joshua got mad and punched him after the bell. Boy, this fight's getting a little dirty. A little dirty. So he goes down twice that round. It all started with Pulev, like I said, kind of reached out with one of these jabs. Joshua does a beautiful, off his back foot, coming forward, catches him with a right on the jawline. And that's what started it all. Pulev was extremely wobbled after that when he did that, and he started to really work him. Then he was catching him with just uppercuts, lefts, rights, uppercuts. Pulev kept trying to turn around like this. And you could tell, I mean, I don't. When a fighter does something like that, for me, that might as well be a knockdown because the ref shouldn't allow a guy to be able to turn around and get his composure because then you have no choice but to punch him in the back of the head. And he tried to grab him. Joshua pushed him off and started swinging on him again, and then knocked him down again. It was beautiful. They're trying to get started. Joshua was ready. Joshua was up off the stool, got his hands like this, ready to go. And the referee's pushing him back, like, wait a minute, y'all guys need to come in here, be civil to each other, and stop fighting so bad. Joshua gave him this. Joshua looked at him like this, as if to say, I got you now. So let's go. Let's see it. Let's see if he's got it. Joshua needs to be smart, though. Doesn't need to get dumb. Pulev can still punch. He's gotten his composure back. He's up now. He's gotten his legs under him. So we'll see how sturdy he is after that last round of getting knocked down twice. Both guys still in the middle of the ring. Joshua throwing out some feeler jabs again. Doubled up the jab. Beautiful. Pulev, I think, is going to have to keep it a dirty fight, though, if he wants a shot. He's got to move in there for something. Oh, another great jab by Joshua. Another great jab. It's looking good now. Pulev he's got to move in closer. Another good little short hook by Joshua hits. Body shot, jab to the stomach. Joshua really working the jab right now. That's the main punch he's throwing this round. Pulev again kind of reaching out with that jab. He's going to get caught again on the counter if he keeps that up. And Pulev tries to throw 1-2. Nothing connects. Good try, but doesn't make it. They tie each other up here. Referee separates them. Pulev's going for a big shot. You can tell that's all he needs. That's all he's looking for is the big shot. I agree. I think Joshua needs to finish this here in the next 2 rounds, either up to the 6th round. You know, Pulev's definitely still got his legs under him. He's definitely throwing punches now. And he's kind of throwing those dirty punches I talked about earlier, trying to get a little dirty in there. And he almost has to do that to kind of get Joshua off his game, I think, and to have an opportunity to hit some of these big power shots that he's trying to throw every now and then. Seeing the tying up, and he just hit Joshua in the back of the head again on a tie-up. The referee's warning him now. Joshua working up and down, trying to get that jab in there again. Pulev doing some feints. Looks like he's trying to get in a little closer because, like I said, this reach, especially on that right, he wants to hit that right so badly, but Joshua's just a little bit out of reach for him. And he's been doing a very good defense of ducking under that right when he does throw the big one. So if I was Joshua here, I'd get right back to it as far as working off that double up my jab and moving forward. Pulev again trying to kind of throw a punch to the back a little bit. I don't know. It's getting a little dirty. Pulev is definitely not happy with the way this is going. He's trying to throw a lot of feints. I do think Joshua needs to get off. He's down the line too much. He needs to get a little bit more heavy. He's trying to wait for the counter movement, and I think he needs to start moving before that counter shot comes in. Okay, Pulev trying to move in, going for jabs. Fellas tied each other up again. Now Joshua hit him in the back of the head. So you can tell Joshua's getting a little under his skin. He's got under Joshua's skin, so Joshua's kind of giving him back some of the same stuff he was passing to him. So the referee trying to keep this fight under control. Joshua versus Fury, who wins? I got to tell you, that's a tough one. We were talking about that earlier. I do think that Joshua has the better all-around skills, but Tyson Fury is one of those fighters he's a tough fight. He's a difficult fight for somebody like Anthony Joshua because he does fight his sort of orthodox style. So that's a tough one. I think right now, if I had to bet on it, I would probably give a slight advantage to Tyson Fury just because I think of his defensive style. I think a lot of times is a little more difficult to handle than most fighters. It's tough for a fighter like Joshua to maybe keep up with that. So I think it'd be one of those fights where Joshua would definitely have to get a little more conditioning because I think that's one of the main things I've seen in Joshua's in his, chink in his chain in his arsenal is his conditioning. I think he'd have to be super, super conditioned to win a fight against Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury, he's moving around the whole fight ridiculously. I'll turn this light on here so we can get a little more light. Yeah, a little dark outside. Hope that's better for you folks. But yeah, right now I'd give Fury the slight advantage over Joshua, even though I think Joshua is the better all-around fighter. I think, styles make fights, and I think that style, Tyson's style versus Joshua gives Fury a slight advantage. Heavyweight, if he isn't cheating, well, I agree. I don't think he was cheating. I don't think. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I don't believe him to be cheating. But according to Deontay Wilder, he did everything but, sedate him during the fight. Fifth round here, 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. They're tied up. Both guys still throwing the jab. That's their main punch thrown this round, trying to both get the distance down. And Joshua looks to be looking to counter Pulev at this point. He's looking to get Pulev kind of off balance with one of those reaching shots again and go for a good counter shot. Pulev is still trying to get in a little closer, but he just doesn't seem to quite be able to get the distance down. And I think he's doing a lot of movement, but I think it's almost wasted movement. I don't think he's doing the right movements to get in. He's doing a lot of, back and forth and kind of up and down, but he's not moving forward during the entire time he's doing that. Not very much. He's very slight movements forward. I think if he wants to get in closer, he's going to have to kind of if he wants to do those up and under movements, do it, step forward and then go for a shot, go for some punches. He's gonna have to put himself at risk if he wants to win because Joshua's got every round in the bag right now. We're at the fifth round. The knockdown, he had 2 knockdowns in the third round, and it was 10-8 round easy. So in all the other rounds, Joshua's controlled. He's definitely gotten the better punches. He's landed more punches. So Pulev's only shot at this really at this point is he's gonna have to get in closer. How is Pulev after the knockdown? Has he recovered? I do think he's definitely recovered by this point. His legs, I think he recovered the last round. The last round he came in, he looked, like he got his legs back from underneath him. Pulev's a tough guy. That's what I'm saying. He's not an easy fight. I mean, he's a very tough, rugged fighter, hard to take down. So you're not gonna just knock him down and think he's not gonna get back up. He's got a lot of heart and he's definitely got a lot of pride. But Joshua, I got to tell you, he's got a great right hand down the middle, and Pulev is kind of got his hands too open for that. Pulev just landed a nice right hand on Joshua, coming in close. That's what he's going to have to do. He's got to get in close and land some of those big rights. He just tried to land another one. Joshua blocked that one. Now they're talking again. Here we go, talking again. I'm not a fan of the talking in the ring. Really not. If I'm talking, it's with these. I don't got nothing to say with my mouth. I don't like the Pulev is kind of engaging Joshua and it's working. He's getting Joshua to engage back, and I don't think Joshua needs to do that. I think Joshua needs to stick to the game plan, use his hands to do the talking. End of that round. Both guys smile at each other as they go back to the corner. They're enjoying themselves, I think. But Joshua definitely won that round again. I mean, Pulev just didn't do enough. Controlled the round, controlled it with his jab. He controlled the distance. So he got some good jabs in there. Like I said, Pulev did. He also caught a good right hand. It wasn't real flush because Pulev was off his back foot, but it did connect. So it definitely, got him the points. He got the points he needed on that one. Round 5, Joshua, absolutely. Yeah, Joshua's won all the rounds. He's got 50 points right now. Yeah, I mean, easy fight to score at this point. And, obviously, unless some judges are watching something else, which does seem to happen quite often in the boxing world. But, on most people who are watching the fight are going to say Joshua's won every round so far. And like I said, he had that 10-8 round in the third for the double knockdown that he had on Pulev. Could even scored a 10-7 with the 2 knockdowns. Because Pulev really didn't do anything. He does look fairly good conditioned. He looks to have his feet underneath him, his legs underneath him. He's not breathing heavily. He's not bouncing around the ring a whole lot. He's bouncing, but he's not moving around too much. So I don't think he's wasting too much energy either, which is good. He's trying to stay, have his feet in place for most of the time until he's just trying to move off when Pulev does try to move in, and he's doing that for the distance. So he looks fairly conditioned. Pulev looks very well conditioned as well. He doesn't look tired. Pulev just got him with a very nice, stiff jab, but then she punched him in the back of the head, and the referee warned him again. So it's another one. That's about the third warning Pulev's had for punching in the back of the head. So I wonder how many more rounds he's going to get away with doing that before the ref really takes away. Pulev tries to move in for the right. Joshua does a nice job ducking underneath. I do think Joshua needs to quit trying to duck underneath that right hand and quit, instead of that, sort of move to the right, move to Pulev's left a little bit and try and work his left hook in. Joshua's got great movement up and down, though, so I think he needs to use that a little bit more with Pulev. Pulev still reaching out, kind of pawing with that jab, trying to get that right hand. Pulev's just looking for the right hand, which it's understandably so because he knows, I'm sure, that he's losing these rounds. We're here in the 6th, minute and a half left in the 6th round. Think it'll go all the way? City on the Tour thinks this fight will go all the way. It's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. I do think Joshua will close the show. I think he's going to get him before that. If he works that left hook that he just threw just then, I think he can. And Pulev again throws another shot to the back of the head. That is another warning from the referee. I mean, that's now about 4 out of the 6 rounds we've had a warning for punching to the back of the head by Pulev. I'm not sure how many more times he can do that without getting in trouble. Yeah, I agree with Mr. Lewis. I think Joshua does need a big showing. It's going to help him. A win is a win, obviously. I think he's going to get the 2 fights he needs, but to get the big, to close the show in the right way, I think he needs the knockout for everybody to look at him as really, for there to be a discussion for him to say who's better, Tyson or Joshua, Tyson Fury, that is. I think he needs to knock Pulev out. Ooh, now Joshua got a little dirty. Joshua grabbed him by the head and took a little shot. He's getting tired of getting hit in the back of the head, I'm sure. Pulev's dragging him down in the trenches. Another 1-2 by Joshua. Another right hand down the middle. Both guys throwing in the back of the head again. Now the ref's telling Joshua, watch the back of the head. The ref's kind of losing control of this back of the head shots. It's good movement by Joshua. Pulev trying to track him down. He's weaving both jabs that he threw. End of the round. All right. Round 6 closed down. Yeah, I think he needs a dominant W, but more dominant than the Ruiz, because the Ruiz was a dominant W, that last Ruiz rematch. He won, no doubt about it. He definitely won the fight, but he did it with boxing. He was simply boxing. He wasn't going for the knockout. He was just showing that he could outbox this guy. So he won, in a dominant fashion, but I think in this fight, he needs just, like you said, a KO dominant fashion. He doesn't just need to win. He needs to win in, dramatic fashion instead of dominant dramatic fashion. He needs to knock this guy out. He's already put him on the ground twice. I think he can still get it. The shots are still there. I think he's waiting a little too much to try and counter him. If he pushes the action, I think he could actually get the shot, but push the action the right way. Don't leave yourself open. See, I don't think he needed the KO against Ruiz in the rematch. I just think that was part of the game plan, was to come in there and get the rounds and just outbox him the whole time. It's like I said, styles make fights, and Ruiz is a tough fight because he's so much shorter than Joshua. It's not easy to fight somebody that's short at that weight, who has that kind of power too. I mean, it's like fighting Tyson. Now Ruiz doesn't punch near as hard as Tyson does, but he still can punch very hard. Now we started round 7 here, 2 minutes 40 seconds, 20 seconds into the 7th round. They're tying up a little bit, throwing a lot of punches back and forth. Joshua maybe looking to open up his. Yep, he's throwing another big right uppercut with the left. Pulev is holding on though; he is not letting go when he does it. Referee's separating them again because they're both trying to punch in the back of their heads. Both guys are holding each other while they're punching, so they're hitting the back of each other's heads. Joshua with 2 stiff jabs to the pot belly. Pot shot, excuse me. AJ's got a great jab, and I do like that he's using it and keeping him at distance here, because when Pulev does move in, it does open him up for these big counter shots. So here, I agree. The fans definitely want to see knockouts in the heavyweight division, but you got to win too. You definitely got to win, because I mean, Wilder, look at him. He's a big time knockout artist in the heavyweight division, but there's no way for the common fan, I would absolutely agree with you. The common fan wants to, Joshua with another good right and an uppercut, 2 uppercuts, 3 uppercuts, 4 uppercuts. Oh, he's trying to hit Pulev. Now Pulev using his forearm trying to push him off here and hitting again while the referee's trying to push away. I'm surprised the referee hadn't kind of grabbed these guys and put them to the side and given them official warning saying if something happens again, points will be taken. Both guys are getting a little irritated. Pulev obviously initiating a lot of it, but he needs to do that. He needs to make this sort of a dirty fight to get Joshua off his game. Like I was saying about Wilder, though, big knockout artist, but for the common fan, they love it. For the avid boxing fan, it's hard to watch Wilder because he's not a great boxer. He's just a great puncher. So I understand exactly what you mean. For the common fan, 100% he definitely needs to box, a knockout. For the boxing fan, they would love to, for the avid fan, they would love to see him knock him out, because I think he definitely has the ability for it. And I think he can do it too. So I don't think there's any reason for him not to. And we're here in the 7th, and I think he still can. And again, 2 shots to the back of the head. Referees, he almost looks like he doesn't know when to say something. He definitely sells it. The Bronze Bomber Bomb Squad definitely gets people in the seats because, like you said, I mean, he's catchy. People definitely want to come see what he's offering. Joshua with another great jab down the middle. That's the thing, is Pulev is not winning any of these rounds. I mean, so I understand Joshua taking a few of these rounds. I think that round in particular, I think he took off, except he had that one quick burst there in the beginning, and then towards the end, he kind of just backed up. You think Wilder would beat Joshua? Honestly, I've actually said that I think out of those 3 main fighters, I've said this before, I think Joshua has a better chance of beating Fury than he does Wilder, also because of their styles. Styles make fights. I don't think Joshua would have the forefront to come forward because he is so much of a boxer and not a brawler. I don't think he would come forward enough against Deontay Wilder, which is what he would need to do to beat Wilder. Wilder would end up, I think, possibly catching him with the right hand. So I agree that I think, if I was going to bet on it today, seeing what I've seen, I would say that Wilder has a better shot of beating Joshua than Joshua. I think Joshua has a better shot of beating Fury than he does beating Wilder. So I definitely, as of right now. Now, again, Joshua could, definitely switch up his fighting tactics and maybe show me something different. But the way he fights most of the time, I do think that those styles would be much more difficult to match up. Start around 8. Both fighters still seem like they've got a lot in the tank. They look very game for this round. Nobody seems to be tired or sloughing off. Both fighters look like they've gotten a lot of good stamina, a lot of good road work for this fight, which is good. You never want to see a guy come in there and just be winded. The heavyweight fight, 2 fights before this one, both guys, it was against Huey Fury, who is the Tyson Fury's cousin. Another little, and now we got a timeout by the referee because both fighters are getting dirty, and the referee's about had it. He's saying, stop the talking. I don't want to hear any more talking at either one of y'all, and no more dirty shots, period, or I will take points away. He should have done that, I think, back in round 5. He's let this go on way too long as far as the dirtiness of it. Pulev with a great right hand catches Joshua. So I'm saying I think Pulev's got to drag him down in a dirty fight to really kind of really get a good shot on him. Joshua with a couple of good hooks, but they were mostly blocked by Pulev. Put him off balance a little bit, but did not connect flush. Joshua with some good movement. Pulev's trying to move in, still looking for that right hand. Goes for a left hook. Joshua ducks underneath it. They tie up, referee breaks them apart. See, Joshua, I think here, this is where sometimes when I talk about Joshua needs to sometimes fight taller than what he is. He needs to fight a little taller, I think, here against Pulev because he keeps ducking down for these counter shots and he's getting hit by the right hand some. And that's just I don't think it would behoove him to do that. I think he would do much better sometimes fighting taller, staying up, and using his reach, but using those power shots as well. And when he does want to get lower, scoot in some, get closer in so that you can use those big uppercuts because he's got a great uppercut too. Pulev is doing a lot of reaching with his left hand still. That left hand hook is still going in there, trying to get a shot in. And Joshua hadn't quite figured out how to counter that shot, which is actually, I think, his biggest opportunity to counter Pulev. The way Pulev throws a lot of his punches, I think that his best counter shot would be. He tried to do it there. He tried to throw that left out. He tried to sidestep him and uppercut him with the right, but it didn't. It just off the mark, just grazed him. Didn't quite connect. If he'd connected it, it would have been a good shot, but he couldn't get it in there. Great power jab by Anthony Joshua there. Kubrat Pulev is very game, though. He is not backing down. He is definitely game for this fight. He's a tough guy. You got to give him credit for what he has done in the fight. Even though he hasn't, connected with a lot of shots, he's still very, very game. He is not backing down whatsoever. A lot of heart. Both of them trying to come in with a power jab. Neither one connect all that well. Let's see here. I want to see Joshua in a dog fight. It's dog all right, but Pulev doing a very good job of making it a rough, rugged fight because he's doing a lot of grabbing, a lot of hugging, a lot of punching in the back of the head to the point where the referees had to warn them to both just stop, the dirty fighting because there's a lot of it. So, end of that round. Yeah, that was the money round. We're going into the 9th round. Missed his deadline for the rematch. I'm not a big fan of what Wilder has done on this, post that fight of all the excuses and all of the. I mean, I've heard him say that the water was spiked. I've heard him say that the suit was too heavy and it weighed his legs down. I've heard. Oh, and Floyd Mayweather's in the house. Just saw that. I hated all the things Wilder was saying at the end of that fight was just ridiculous to me. So I've lost a lot of respect for him in that regard. He's missed the rematch. They got to work out all that stuff. So Wilder, he's for me at this point, I don't think he's going to have another shot at these big time fighters. If he does, he might just because I know Joshua's requested it, but we'll see. I mean, I agree. Wilder for me is now just he's just selling the ticket. He's there just to see a knockout, but he's going to have a hard time. A lot of these guys aren't going to want to fight him after that. Start around round 9. We got 2 minutes 45 seconds, 15 seconds into the round 9. Let's see here. Wilder has COVID. He had COVID or he has COVID? From his visit to see the Pope. He said that? See, that's what I'm saying. He might. I don't know. But I've heard a lot of weird, just crazy things coming out of the Wilder camp. And when his own trainer said something, I was like, said something to the regard of, I've got nothing to do with what Wilder's saying. It's almost like, well, your own team is starting to back away from you. They don't want to hear what you're talking about. Wilder versus Ruiz, Wilder versus White. Yeah, I mean, he's got some options out there. Oh, great power jab by Joshua. Great power jab. He walked into that one. I think he should have followed it up a little bit because I think Pulev was a little bit stunned by that shot. Not hurt, just, caught off guard. Had to, reacclimate his eyes to figure out where he was. Not where he was in general, where he was in the ring. Ooh, see, now he's trying to counter that left hand that I was talking about, that left wide looping left hook. He tried to counter it with a right uppercut again. I'm seeing some scorecard, they're showing the zone announcer scorecard, and he said Pulev won that last round. It's I guess that would be a swing round because neither guy really did much. Ooh, two great, 3 or 4. He did 4 uppercuts right there, and only one of them really got any kind of hit any, very flush at all. The other 2 were pretty much blocked, but boy, he's putting some power on those shots. Pulev punching Joshua again while he's holding him. Oh, Joshua grabbed him by the back of the head and talking to him, saying, stop, you better stop doing that kind of crap. Well, the referee, I'm so surprised the referee is not taking a point away from somebody this fight. I mean, I understand why he doesn't want to, but no offense, the zone announcer trash. I'm not a big fan of the zone. That is probably my least favorite. A huge uppercut by Joshua. Pulev is rocked. He is on his, he fell. He's down. Pulev is down. Huge uppercut. The exact uppercut we were talking about, the counter uppercut. Caught him. I mean, Pulev is wobbly. He stood up. He's walking around. The referee's saying, go back to the corner. Pulev looks like he's out of it. He's got his hands. He's saying, you ready to fight? Let's go. All right, they're back in the middle of the ring. Pulev is definitely hurt on that one. Oh, and he's down. Woo! Right hand cross. Put him on his back. I don't think he's getting up. He's trying to get up right now. 7, 8, 9. That is it. Fight over. Joshua with a huge finish. Huge finish. Wow, he hit him crucial with a right cross. He took him down the first in that round with and he gives a little bow to everybody in the crowd. Thank you. Very good job. Beautiful job by Joshua. He catches him with a great uppercut to wobble him, stays on him. Pulev falls. Pulev gets back up. As soon as they bring him back to the middle ring, Joshua steps in, right hand cross, and he falls flat on his back. It was over. Oh man, he's up now. Thank goodness. He's okay. Tough guy to get up on. He's tough to get up from the uppercut. I was 1 round off. There you go. You were close. You said round 8, I believe. I do think you changed it to round 6 somewhere in that discussion, but we won't forget you said that. But I will agree. I thought it would be under 8 rounds. But still, at the end of the day, Joshua does a great job. He's walking out to Floyd Mayweather. Anthony Joshua and Floyd Mayweather having a quick discussion there on the sidelines. Floyd's in his ear, I'm sure, telling him some sort of words of encouragement. But I promise you, that was a great finish by Joshua. That's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the way you're supposed to finish a fight. That is exactly how it's done. Floyd Mayweather, paying respects, let him know, hey, great fight to Joshua. And that's how you finish a fight. That was a great finish by Joshua. Man, that was nice. Beautiful uppercut. Stepped, as soon as they brought him back to the middle ring, he didn't waste any time. Stepped in, right hand cross, right down the middle, and put him on his back. And like I told y'all earlier, Pulev keeps his hands kind of out here a lot of the time. So that down the middle, down the pipe is open often. If you can catch him with a fast shot, I mean, you can put him to sleep. And he did. He dropped him. So first they're showing the replays here. He does a great job with the uppercut. And it wasn't even a full counter because it looked like Pulev was about to throw the left, but never quite did. Kind of stepped to his right, great uppercut, got him rocked, kept throwing punches as Pulev tried to grab him, couldn't hold on, fell down. He was down. As soon as he gets up, that's a beautiful uppercut. Again, right down the middle. He gets his hands there, catches him right flush on the jaw. His whole head cocks up. Who's my all-time great heavyweight of all time? Let's see. Are we going to talk? Well, it depends. Are we talking about career? Or are we talking about prime as far as their ability, prime ability? Because if we're talking, I'll go ahead and do both here. For prime, as far as skill-wise, he better have one like this. Yeah. As far as my prime heavyweight, so the heavyweight that I think that had the most talent as far as in his prime would be the most difficult fighter to fight, I would say Mike Tyson. In his prime, he had the offense and defense. That people overlook his defense so often. But defensively, he was a great defensive fighter. Offensively, obviously, he could knock you out with either hand. He was a monster on offense. So in their prime, now he didn't have the greatest career. I think obviously, Custom Auto's death and the road he went down as far as his personal life. He didn't have a great career. His career wasn't the greatest, but prime fighting wise, as far as skill, he's the greatest heavyweight. Career wise is a little tougher because you've had a lot of great careers. Of course, Rocky Marciano, 49-0, undefeated heavyweight, the only undefeated heavyweight fighter of all time. But he only fought 49 fights. Tyson's record is questionable with who he fought and when. Like I said, his career definitely is he didn't have the best career. Rocky Marciano is definitely somebody who you would have to put in the conversation for greatest, career heavyweight of all time. But of course, Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest. He had a great career. He had obviously no fear of fighting the best. He would fight the best whenever he could. Then you got some heavyweight fighters like Jack Johnson. That, as far as a career, I mean, they were training guys for years to fight specifically to knock Jack Johnson off his pedestal and couldn't do it. I mean, if you ever watch any of those old Jack Johnson fights, he fought it was an odd style for this day and age. But back then, I mean, he played patty cake with you. You threw punches, he would catch your hands like this and then hit huge, just rock solid shots and knock people out. So I would say for career-wise, it's up in the air. There's a few different fighters I could say, make an argument for. But prime, as far as in their prime skill-wise, I got Mike Tyson. And as far as he better have won like this, Lewis said in the post-fight interview, he will say something fake, humble, and avoid confirming the Fury fight. I don't know. I've been watching all his pre-fights, and it's not up to him right now as whether the Fury fight happens. He might have to fight Usyk as a mandatory. So he's already said he wants to fight Fury. He said that all the pre-fights, Lennox Lewis, he's definitely in the conversation for career. I don't know if I would put him as the best as far as talent. I mean, he's probably top 10 or top 5 even for talent-wise. He was a monster. And his career was obviously he's one of the only few undisputed heavyweight champions. But I don't know skill-wise. I don't know if I'm making him the best in his prime. Or his career could definitely be an argument for. But in his best, I mean, he's top 5, I would say. I say there's no argument there. But I wouldn't have him as number 1. I would definitely have Mike Tyson over him skill-wise in their prime. Of course, when, a lot of people don't fight each other in their prime, unfortunately. But as far as Joshua goes for the future fights here, I think him and Fury definitely want to fight each other. And he's been saying it all pre-fights, all these interviews way before, this fight happened. He wants Fury. And they've had a lot of back and forth. But he says, obviously the mandatory, and I can't remember which belt it is, so, don't hold me to it. I want to say it's the WBA, but I could be wrong. Mr. Usyk, Alexander Usyk, is a mandatory for one of those belts. And he's been calling Joshua out since he beat Chisora the other way. He's been calling Joshua out for a while now for the belt. So I don't think that it's up to him as much as it is to the boxing world. There's going to be a lot of politics here with the future of his next fight. But I think it's possible, as long as now that he's knocked him out, I think him and Fury will make that fight happen next year. Either he'll have to fight Usyk first and then fight Fury. But then again, I feel like he has to beat Usyk, who's a great fighter. I do think Usyk is a little undersized. I think that's the biggest advantage that Joshua's going to have. I don't think Usyk will be able to knock Joshua out. He can maybe outpoint him, but I don't think he can knock him out. So the future for Joshua looks bright either way. He's going to get some big fights next year, whether it be Usyk or whether he fights Fury. Is Fury in the arena? He is not. Fury said yesterday in a post that he was not coming. So even though his cousin was on this year, his cousin was on the undercard. Hughie Fury fought 2 fights ago against I forget his first name, but Vach, who's that 41-year-old big 6'7" fighter. He did so. His cousin's there, but Tyson Fury is not in the arena. He could not make it or didn't want to come. I'm not sure what the situation is, but he did announce that he would not be here. Joshua in his interview. See if I can get some closed captioning here for you guys. My apologies. I'm at work in a hotel, so I don't have my normal television, so I don't have the remote in order to do so. But hopefully his interview, he will let everybody know that he wants Tyson Fury. Heavyweights, Lewis had 2 losses to avenge them. Lennox Lewis was a great fighter. Not to take anything away from it. And I actually, I tell you, I really enjoy him as an announcer. He's a very good announcer. He's very knowledgeable, and I think he's a great announcer. But yeah, he was one of the greatest heavyweights of all time for sure. Skill-wise and career-wise, just for me, like you said, I mean, Tyson to me he was a late bloomer. He had to learn how to fight tall too. A lot of fighters don't know how to fight tall. Klitschko is one of those guys who had a great career. He wasn't very fun to watch because he was a very boring fighter. He worked off the jab. He stood up tall. He was hard to punch. He had good defense, solid. But a lot of people, he had a great career, but a lot of people bored with him. And unfortunately for him, he fought in an era where the heavyweight division was extremely weak. I mean, you couldn't name most of the fighters that he was beating. Even the top, mandatories that he had to fight, people still didn't know who they were. Heavyweight division severely lacked during that time period. But I think the heavyweight division has really made a great comeback. We've got some great fighters in it, good characters, people like Wilder, who've been a hell of a character for everybody to see. Tyson Fury obviously is an amazing character. Joshua, sort of your calmer, more so, likable character. I mean, there's a lot of those guys in this heavyweight division. We got a lot of guys coming up. I mean, some of those, what's his name? There's a few heavyweights that his name leaves me. Jared. He's I forget his first name. What is his name? He's another great up and coming fighter. That F.A. Ijagbo, however you pronounce his name. He's also a very good fighter. Having a future phone call here. Fellas, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm about to get off of here. I will be back on for the fights later on this evening, so feel free to tune in. Appreciate everybody watching, and next time y'all come watch all my episodes I'll be having coming up on Let's Talk Boxing. Appreciate y'all.